Floyd right now.
Missed with that right cross. Manny tried to come back with the left. He parried.
Hey, Floyd.
To understand why Manny Pacquiao's recent words still echo nearly a decade later, you have to go back to May 2, 2015, a night that froze the boxing world. It was billed as the fight of the century. Floyd Mayweather Jr. versus Manny Pacquiao. Two global icons. Two once-in-a-generation fighters. Years of delays, negotiations, injuries, and politics led to this long-awaited showdown. The hype was unmatched. And then, the fight fell short. Mayweather walked away with a unanimous decision. Technically brilliant, yes, but emotionally flat. He did what he always does, controlled the range, slipped shots, landed crisp counters, and dictated the pace. It was clinical. It was strategic. But it lacked fire. Pacquiao, on the other hand, looked out of rhythm. His signature flurries failed to land clean. The angles weren't there. Then came the twist. In the post-fight interview, Pacquiao revealed he had fought with a torn rotator cuff in his right shoulder. He'd been denied a pre-fight anti-inflammatory injection by the Nevada State Athletic Commission, and the injury hadn't been disclosed publicly. Mayweather's team waved it off as an excuse. Pacquiao's team insisted it changed everything. The fallout got bitter. Mayweather called him a sore loser. Pacquiao stood his ground, saying he still believed he won. Fans were split. Some admired Floyd's mastery, others felt cheated out of the war they were promised. The rematch. It never came. Mayweather retired undefeated at 50-0, seemingly content. Pacquiao kept fighting, chasing not just wins, but something deeper. A moment that could rewrite the narrative of Mayweather's calculated victory. And that's the context behind his scared-to-death comment. For Pacquiao, that fight was never truly settled. Not in his heart. Not in the minds of many fans. It was supposed to define an era, but it ended as a tactical chess match that most people watched once and never again. Floyd got the win. But Manny never got the closure. So when Pacquiao recently said, "I don't think he'll fight me again," he's scared to death to fight again, it wasn't about trash talk. It wasn't bluster. It was the ache of unfinished business. And when Manny says something like that, softly, calmly, it cuts deeper. Referee Kenny Bayless's final words that night, "Good luck to both of you. Touch him up. God bless." Feel almost poetic in hindsight. Because the fight blessed neither man with peace. The phrase "scared to death to fight again" might sound like fighting words. But from Pacquiao, it carries more weight than simple bravado. He wasn't calling Floyd a coward in the traditional sense. He was pointing at something else: legacy, timing, risk. Floyd Mayweather built an empire on perfection. Undefeated. Untouched. Untarnished. For a man obsessed with controlling every variable, stepping back into the ring with a hungry Pacquiao, older, wiser, and perhaps healthier, is a variable he has no reason to entertain. Why reopen a closed chapter? Why risk the legacy? And that's the heart of Pacquiao's point. He's not saying Floyd is scared of pain, he's suggesting Floyd is scared of possibility. The kind that fuels revisionist history. A rematch could rewrite the narrative. What if Manny wins the second time? What if the injury really did matter? What if that was the real fight of the century, and it never happened? Mayweather knows what one loss would mean to his image. He's seen other greats falter chasing one more payday or validation. He's built his empire on denying that risk. Pacquiao, he lives for that risk. He thrives on it. Even now, with nothing left to prove, he's still walking into danger. Not for money, but for meaning. So when he says, he's scared to fight again, he's really highlighting the difference in who they are. Floyd slips, counters, calculates. Manny presses, overwhelms, charges forward. That contrast didn't end in the ring. Floyd remains distant. Silent. Strategic. Manny is still talking. Still challenging. Still coming forward. To Pacquiao, Mayweather's silence isn't wisdom. It's avoidance. To Mayweather, silence is the wisdom. And in that tension lives the power of Manny's statement. When Pacquiao laces up the gloves in 2025, it's more than just a comeback. After retirement, a failed presidential run, and years out of the ring, he's back. His opponent? Mario Barrios. Young, strong, dangerous. Exactly the type of fighter most retired legends would avoid. But that's the point. This isn't a paycheck grab. It's a statement. In every interview leading up to the fight, Pacquiao has been clear. He's not returning to box, he's returning to shock. He's not clinging to his past. He's aiming to shape his future. Because Manny Pacquiao doesn't just want to be remembered. He wants to remind you, he's still a problem. It didn't take much, just one line, quietly dropped in an interview. A single sentence from Manny Pacquiao, part reflection, part provocation, and the boxing world exploded. He's scared to death to fight again. Pacquiao said it without theatrics. No raised voice. No dramatic pause. He wasn't trying to stir up headlines, but that didn't matter. The internet did the rest. Within hours, fans were reposting the quote, media outlets clipped it, and a rivalry many thought was buried came roaring back, this time not in the ring, but in the firestorm of online debates. What made it so compelling was how calm Pacquiao sounded. It wasn't a jab. It didn't even sound like a challenge. If anything, it came across like quiet confusion, from a man content with his own legacy, wondering why Floyd Mayweather refuses to revisit theirs. No trash talk. No hype. Just a subtle prod. And somehow, that was enough to reignite everything. Because when Manny Pacquiao speaks, especially about Floyd Mayweather, the boxing world listens. Let's be clear, he didn't shout the words in this video's title. He didn't declare war. But what he did say, and how he said it, sparked a fire that still burns. Why won't Mayweather fight him again? Is it ego? Tactics? Or is it fear? This video breaks down Pacquiao's statement, how it stirred up fresh speculation, and what it means for two legends who still command headlines without throwing a single punch. In July 2025, during an interview with Covers.com, Pacquiao was asked about Mayweather, the man who both defined and complicated his legacy. His response was short, clear, and piercing. I don't think Floyd Mayweather will fight me again. He's scared to death to fight again. No smirk. No shade. Just direct, almost indifferent delivery. But that line hit like a left hook. Within hours, scared to death was everywhere. On fan pages, sports blogs, YouTube thumbnails, Instagram reels. The phrase became a spark, lighting up a fan base hungry for answers. Now, to be fair, Pacquiao wasn't accusing Mayweather of being afraid of him specifically. In full context, he was talking about Floyd's apparent unwillingness to return to elite competition. When asked if Mayweather was ducking a rematch, Pacquiao shrugged. Lots of excuses, I guess. That word, guess, is important. It didn't sound like a direct accusation. It was an opinion. A read. One fighter assessing another. But when it's Manny Pacquiao implying that Floyd Mayweather is scared, it doesn't matter how softly it's said. The world listens. And the media pounces. Speculation followed. Was this Pacquiao finally speaking his truth? Was he hinting at a comeback? Or was it simply a moment of honesty from a champion still looking for closure? What's remarkable is how effortlessly Pacquiao reignited the conversation. He didn't need to shout or campaign. He just spoke. And that one comment, years after their first clash, landed harder than most punches thrown back in 2015. Up next, we revisit the history of that fight. What really happened? What didn't? And why does the possibility of a rematch, even now, still feel more electric than most fights happening today? This comeback isn't just about fighting, it's psychological warfare. Quiet, calculated, and deliberate. The more active Manny Pacquiao appears, the more it puts pressure on Floyd Mayweather. Not because Floyd needs to fight again, but because the contrast is impossible to ignore. Here's Pacquiao, older, smaller, but still entering dangerous bouts, while Mayweather continues to spar influencers, YouTubers, and MMA names in low-risk exhibitions. The optics speak louder than any press release. And Pacquiao knows it. Without directly calling him out, he sends a message loud enough to hear, I'm still here. Where's Floyd? His team has been smart about it, too. They've subtly shaped the narrative, one fighter still willing to risk everything, and the other carefully curating a flawless image. This isn't just a challenge to Mayweather's record. It's a challenge to his legacy. For Pacquiao, this return is personal. It's about closure. He's spent a lifetime defying odds, climbing 8 weight classes, coming back from crushing defeats. He's always thrived off doubt. And nothing represents unfinished business like that 2015 loss to Mayweather. Every punch he throws...
I like boastful people. How is it like fighting Mayweather then? Did he get on your nerves? Because I feel like he's a little bit more boastful than the people you might be wanting to hang out with.
It's kind of... Yeah, he's boastful. I think his god is the material things, money, everything like that.
Yeah.
And
now is aimed at that memory. At that moment. At that fight that still stings. So when he says Floyd is scared to fight again, it's not coming from the sidelines. It's coming from a man who's still training, still stepping into the ring, still chasing something that matters. Maybe not for the world. But definitely for himself. And for Floyd. The moment Pacquiao's quote hit the internet, the reaction was instant. News sites pounced. Pacquiao says Mayweather is scared to fight again. Is Floyd ducking a rematch? Even outlets that barely cover boxing ran with it. It wasn't just what was said. It was who said it. Pacquiao, calm and composed, dropped a verbal match into a room full of dry kindling. Twitter, or X, exploded. Some fans backed Manny. He's right. Floyd's hiding behind that 50-0. He doesn't want real smoke. Others defended Mayweather. He already won. He has nothing left to prove. The debate quickly turned generational. Team Pacquiao painted him as the last real warrior. Team Mayweather called him desperate and clinging to relevance. Boxing forums picked apart the quote line by line. Was it mind games? Ego? Was he hyping an exhibition? One user pointed out. He didn't say Floyd scared of him. He said Floyd scared to fight again. Big difference. Another wrote. He's baiting him. And it's working. YouTube channels jumped in, looping the quote over dramatic music, zooming in on Pacquiao's expression, cutting to old Floyd highlights. It went viral, not because it was explicit, but because it was just vague enough to fuel speculation. And that's modern boxing, where drama moves faster than punches. Some outlets included the full quote for context. Others clipped it for clicks. And fans, they devoured it. Because
you bring the hook with it. You can go to the body. Jab. This double jab.
You got spread over here.
Hey, it's not while I'm working.
Something.
boxing fans don't just crave fights. They crave meaning. They want narrative, stakes, closure. And Pacquiao gave them just enough to believe there's still a chapter left. When Manny Pacquiao drops a line like he's scared to fight again, it doesn't just provoke emotions, it shifts the business. Legacy fights aren't just about sport anymore. They're about storytelling. They're nostalgia-driven battles packed with what ifs and unresolved tension. In this space, perception is power. Mayweather mastered that game. Post-retirement, he fought Conor McGregor in a spectacle that grossed over $600 million. He boxed YouTuber Logan Paul in a no-winner, no-judges event with zero risk to his legacy. Then came exhibitions with Tenshin Nasukawa, Don Moore, and more. Each event engineered for maximum revenue, minimum danger. No real stakes, just brand preservation. Pacquiao's path. Riskier. Traditional. Real fights. He isn't dancing with influencers. He's stepping in with Mario Barrios, young, strong, and hungry. Pacquiao isn't chasing attention. He's chasing relevance, legacy, and something to settle. That's why his comments hit harder. They're not just hype. They're a reflection of two very different philosophies. To Pacquiao, greatness means testing yourself. To Mayweather, greatness means protecting what you've already built. And yet, both men know exactly what a rematch means. Even now, years past their peaks, a Pacquiao-Mayweather rematch would sell out arenas, smash PPV numbers, and dominate headlines. Because for fans, this isn't just sport. It's memory. It's redemption. It's what should have happened, and what still might. Manny's words weren't just a headline. They were a signal. A test. A ripple in the waters of legacy. Even if Floyd never responds, the buzz alone is valuable. Because when you're dealing with icons, talk moves mountains. In a sport clawing for relevance amidst influencers, viral KOs, and gimmick bouts, a single Pacquiao quote still leads the headlines. That says everything. It means legacy still matters. That stories still sell. That we're still not done with this story. Pacquiao's quote tapped into something primal, unfinished business. Fans don't need perfect records. They want resolution. They want emotion. They want truth. Maybe the rematch never comes. Maybe it shouldn't. But the fact that it still lingers, still ignites passion, still spawns videos like this, that's the mark of greatness. For Pacquiao, this comeback is more than a fight. It's a message. For Mayweather, silence is his message, but even that silence speaks volumes. And for us, the fans, the story lives on timelines, in forums, in barbershops and basements, on highlight reels and headlines. The fight is long over. But the story? That refuses to die. Manny didn't yell it. He didn't sell it. But when he said, he's scared to fight again, it hit like a clean left hand. Was he talking about fear of risk? Or fear of legacy unraveling? Either way, it landed. So now, it's your turn. Is Mayweather protecting perfection? Or avoiding unfinished business? Let us know in the comments. And if you want the full breakdown of Pacquiao's return, Mayweather's exhibitions, and the fight that still haunts boxing history, hit subscribe. Because the chapter is closed. But the book isn't finished. Thanks for watching. If you liked it, don't forget to subscribe and stay tuned. Ask ChatGPT.